Have you ever wondered why humans wear clothes? It seems like a stupid question. The answer feels obvious. Because we'd be cold without them, right? Well, not exactly. Because if staying warm was the only reason humans started wearing clothes, there are some huge problems with that explanation. For one thing, humans lived in warm climates for hundreds of thousands of years. And for another, many animals survive perfectly fine without clothes. Bears don't need jackets, lions don't need pants, chimpanzees don't wear sweaters. So what happened to us? Why are humans the only species on Earth that spends enormous amounts of time creating, buying, washing, repairing, and thinking about clothes? The answer takes us back hundreds of thousands of years. Long before stores, long before fashion, long before civilization itself. And strangely enough, one of the biggest clues comes from an insect. But we'll get to that later. To understand clothing, we first need to understand something even stranger. Humans are weirdly naked. Compared to almost every other mammal, humans have very little body hair. Think about it. Our closest relatives are chimpanzees. They're covered in fur. Gorillas are covered in fur. Orangutans are covered in fur. Almost every mammal on Earth is covered in fur. Yet humans look completely different. At some point in the distant past, our ancestors lost most of their body hair. Scientists still debate exactly why. But one leading theory involves heat. As early humans began spending more time walking and running across open landscapes, staying cool became incredibly important. Humans evolved an incredible ability: sweating, lots of it. A horse can sweat, but humans turned sweating into a superpower. When early humans chased animals across long distances, they could cool themselves more efficiently than many other creatures. The problem was that thick fur gets in the way of this system. Less fur meant better cooling, and better cooling meant better endurance. Over time, humans became increasingly hairless. But losing fur created a new problem. Without a thick coat of hair, humans became more vulnerable to cold temperatures, especially when they started moving into new environments. For a long time, this wasn't a huge issue. Many early humans lived in relatively warm regions, but eventually humans began spreading across the planet, and the planet was not always warm. At several points in history, Earth experienced major ice ages. Huge portions of the world became dramatically colder. Regions that humans wanted to explore suddenly became much harder to survive in. Imagine being an early human standing on a freezing landscape. No central heating, no winter coat, no insulated boots, no gloves, no fireplace waiting for you at home. Just wind, snow, and cold, lots of cold. Suddenly, clothing starts looking like a pretty good idea. But here's where things get interesting. Scientists have tried to figure out when humans actually started wearing clothes. You might think archaeologists could simply find ancient shirts. Unfortunately, there's a problem. Clothing usually doesn't survive very long. Fabric rots, leather decomposes, animal skins break down. After tens of thousands of years, most clothing simply disappears. So how do researchers estimate when clothing appeared? This is where things get weird. Remember the insect I mentioned earlier? Lice, specifically body lice. Humans have different types of lice. Head lice live in hair, body lice live in clothing, and body lice can only survive if clothing exists. Scientists studied the DNA of body lice and compared it to other lice species. Then they estimated when body lice first evolved. The result was surprising. The evidence suggests humans may have started regularly wearing clothing around 170,000 years ago. Think about that. Clothing may be older than civilization, older than farming, older than cities, older than written language. For tens of thousands of years, humans were already making clothes while still living as hunter-gatherers. That's incredible. Imagine the amount of effort involved. You can't just order a jacket online. Every piece of clothing had to be created by hand. Animal hides needed preparation, materials needed gathering, tools needed crafting. Hours of labor went into producing something that today can be purchased in minutes. And even then, clothing wasn't just about warmth. Once humans started wearing clothes, something unexpected happened. Clothing became communication. The moment humans could choose what to wear, clothes started sending messages. Who are you? What group do you belong to? Are you wealthy? Are you important? Are you a hunter? A leader? A warrior? Throughout history, clothing became one of humanity's favorite ways of displaying identity. Ancient kings wore special garments. Priests wore special garments. Soldiers wore special garments. Even today, we do exactly the same thing. A police uniform communicates something. A business suit communicates something. A sports jersey communicates something. Without saying a word, clothes tell a story. And over thousands of years, that story became increasingly complicated. Entire industries emerged. Fashion appeared. Luxury clothing appeared. Some people spent fortunes on clothing. Others were legally forbidden from wearing certain colors or materials. Believe it or not, there were periods in history when laws actually controlled what people could wear. Imagine getting arrested because your shirt was too fancy. That actually happened, but perhaps the strangest thing is that clothing eventually became so normal that we stopped questioning it. We wake up, put on clothes, go about our day, and rarely think about how unusual this behavior really is. No other animal on Earth does this. No other species spends billions of dollars designing outfits. No other species argues about fashion trends. No other species fills closets with dozens of different clothing options. Humans took a survival tool and transformed it into something much bigger. Something cultural. Something social. Something symbolic. And today, clothing is one of the clearest signs that humans are different. Not because we're the only species capable of staying warm, but because we're the only species capable of turning warmth into art. The next time you put on a shirt, think about this. You're participating in a behavior that may stretch back nearly 200,000 years. A tradition older than cities, older than kingdoms, older than writing itself. And it all started because somewhere in the distant past, a nearly hairless ape looked at the cold world around them and decided they needed something to wear. That simple decision changed human history forever. And without it, civilization as we know it might never have existed.